Caesar, 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 Caesar,
Get out of here!
Caesar,
Go home,
Caesar.
you lazy men! What is today, a holiday? Don't you know that working men aren't supposed to walk around on a workday without wearing their work clothes? You there, speak up. What's your occupation?
I'm a carpenter, sir.
Where are your leather apron and your ruler? What are you doing wearing your best clothes? And you, sir, what is your trade?
Compared to a fine workman, I'm just a mere cobbler, sir.
But what's your trade? Answer me straightforwardly.
It's a trade, sir, that I practice with a clear conscience. I'm a mender of worn souls. If your souls are worn, I can mend you.
What do you mean by that, you infamous fellow?
Cobble you, sir.
Are you a cobbler?
Sir, I make my living using an awl. I stick to my work. I don't meddle in politics or chase women. I am a surgeon to old shoes. I'm a surgeon to old shoes. When they are in danger, I save them. The noblest men who ever walked on leather walked on my handiwork.
But why aren't you in your shops? Why are you leading these men through the streets?
Well, to wear out their shoes and to get myself more work. Seriously though, we took the day off to see Caesar celebrating his triumph.
Why would he celebrate it? What victory does he bring home? What foreign lands has he conquered and captive foreigners chased to his very will? You blockheads, you unfeeling men, you hard hearts, you cruel men of Rome, didn't you know Pompey? Many times you climbed up on the walls and battlements, towers, and windows, even chimney tops with your babies in your arms and sat there patiently all day waiting to see great Pompey ride through the streets of Rome. And when you caught a glimpse of his chariot, didn't you shout so loud that River Tiber shook as it echoed? And now you put on your best clothes? And now you take a holiday? And now you toss flowers in the path of Caesar, who comes in triumph over Pompey's defeated sons? Go home, run to your houses, fall on your knees, and pray to the gods to spare you the pain that you deserve for such ingratitude.
Go, good countrymen, and to make up for having done wrong, gather all the poor men like yourselves, lead them to the Tiber, and weep into the river until it overflows its banks. Well, that thought to move even the most thick-head of them, there they go, feeling so guilty. They're now tongue-tied. They don't have a thing to say. You go down toward the Capitol, and I'll go this way. Undress the statues if they're decorated in honor of Caesar.
Can we do that? You know it's a piece of Lupercal.
It doesn't matter. Make sure that none of the statues are decorated in tribute to Caesar. I'll walk around and force the commoners off the streets. You do the same, wherever the crowds are thick. If we take away Caesar's support, he'll have to come down to earth. Otherwise, he'll fly too high and keep the rest of us in a state of fear and obedience.
California!
Quiet, Caesar's talking.
California!
I'm here, my lord.
Make sure to stand right in front of Antonius's path when he runs a race. Antonius!
Yes, Caesar?
Antonius, after you take off, don't forget to touch California, because white elders say if you touch an infertile woman during the holy race, she'll be freed from the curse of sterility.
I will remember. Caesar says do this and it will be done.
Continue this and don't forget to perform all the rituals.
Caesar!
Who's calling me?
Quiet, everyone, quiet.
Caesar!
Who in the crowd is calling me? I hear a voice more piercing than the music of trumpets calling Caesar. Speak! Caesar is listening to you.
Beware the Ides of March.
Who's that?
It is a soothsayer telling you to beware March 15th.
Let me see his face. Bring him to me.
Step out of the crowd. This is Caesar you're talking to.
What do you have to say to me now? Speak once again.
Beware March 15th.
He's insane. Let's leave him. Move now.
Going to come to the race. Not me. Please come. I don't like sports. I'm not competitive like Antony. But don't let me keep you from going, Cassius. I'll go my own way.
Brutus, I've been watching you lately. You seem less good-natured and affectionate towards me than usual. You've been stubborn and unfamiliar with your friend who loves you.
Cassius, don't take it badly. If I seem guarded, it's only because I'm uneasy with myself.
Lately, I've been overwhelmed with private thoughts and inner conflicts which have affected my behavior. But this shouldn't trouble my good friends, and I consider you a good friend, Cassius. Don't think anything more about my distraction than that poor Brutus, who's at war with himself, forgets to show affection with others. Brutus, what dangers are you trying to lead me to, Cassius, that you want me to look inside myself for something that's not there?
I'll tell you, good Brutus. And since you know you can't see yourself best by reflection, I'll be your mirror and show you without exaggeration things inside you that you can't see. And don't be suspicious of me, noble Brutus. If you're an advantage a fool, or if I made my feelings for you worthless by making the same promise of friendship to everybody, or you'd see me first flattering men, hugging them tightly, and later slandering them behind their backs, or if you hear that I drunkenly declare friendship at banquets with all the rabble, only then, of course, go ahead and assume I'm dangerous.
Why are they shouting? I'm afraid the people have made Caesar their king.
Really? You are afraid of that? Then I have assumed you don't want him to be king.
I don't, Cassius, though I love Caesar very much, but why do you keep me here so long? What do you want to tell me? If it's for the good of all Romans, I'd do it even if it meant my death. Let the gods give me good luck, only as long as I love honor more than I fear death.
I know this quality in you, Brutus. It is familiar to me as your face. Indeed, in honor is what that I want to talk to you about. I don't know about what you and other men think of this life, but as for me, I'd rather not live at all than to worship a man ordinary as myself. I was born as free as Caesar, and so were you. We both have eaten as well, and we both can endure the cold winter as well as he. Once, as on a cold and windy day, when the river Tiber was crashing against the bank, Caesar cried, "Help me, Cassius, or I will sink." And just as Aeneas, the hero who founded Rome, emerged from the fires of Troy with his elderly father Anchises on his shoulders, so I emerged from the Tiber carrying of his tired Caesar, who has now become a god, and I am a wretched creature who has bowed down if Caesar so as much carelessly nods my way. In Spain, Caesar had a fever, and it made him shake. It's true, this so-called god he shook. His cowardly lips turned white, and the same eye, whose gaze terrifies the world, lost its gleam. I hear him groan, yes I did, and the tongue that ordered the Romans to obey him and transcribe his speeches with their books cried, "Give me some water, Titanius." Like a sick girl, it astounds me that such a weak man could ever beat the whole world and carry the trophy of victory alone.
More shouting! I think this is applause for some new honors awarded to Caesar.
Men can be masters of their fate, and it's only destiny's fault. But our own faults that were slaves, Brutus and Caesar, what's so special about Caesar? Why should that be name proclaimed more than yours? Write them together, yours just as good as a name. Pronounce them, it's just as nice to say. Weigh them, it's just as heavy. Cast spells with them, and Brutus will call up a ghost as well as Caesar. Now in the name of all gods, I ask, what foods does Caesar eat that has made him grow so great? Our heir should be ashamed. You and I had heard our fathers talk about Brutus, your ancestor, who had let the devil himself reign in his Roman Republic before he let the king rule.
I have no doubt that you love me. I'm beginning to understand what you want me to do. I ask you as a friend. I'll think over what you've said. I'll listen patiently to whatever else you have to say, and I'll find a good time for us to discuss further such weighty matters. Until then, my noble friend, think about this. I'd rather be a poor villager than call myself a citizen of Rome under the hard conditions that this time is likely to put us through.
I'm glad that my weak words have provoked even this small show of protest from you.
Antonio! Caesar? I want the men around me to be fat, healthy-looking men who sleep at night. That Cassius over there has a lean, hungry look. He thinks too much. Men like him are dangerous.
Don't be afraid of him, Caesar. He isn't dangerous. He's a noble Roman with a good disposition.
I wish he were fatter, but I'm not afraid of him. And yet if I were capable of fearing anyone, Cassius would be the first man I'd avoid. He reads a lot, he's a keen observer, he sees the hidden motives in what men do. He doesn't like plays the way you do. Antony, he doesn't listen to music, he rarely smiles, and when he does smile, he does so in self-mocking way, as if he corns myself for smiling at all. Men like him will never be comfortable while someone else ranks higher than themselves. And therefore, they're dangerous. I'm telling you what should be feared, not what I fear, because after all, I'm Caesar. Come after my right side, because this ear is deaf, and tell me what you really think of Cassius.
Oh, do you want to speak with me?
Yes, Casca, tell us what happened today with Caesar that put him in such a serious mood.
But you were with him, weren't you?
If I were, I wouldn't need to ask you what happened.
A crown was offered to him, and he pushed it away with the back of his hand, like this, and people started shouting. I can't explain it. It was all so silly, and so I paid no attention. I saw Mark Antony offered him a crown, though it wasn't a real crown, just a small circlet. And as I told you, he refused it once, though in my opinion he would have liked to have it. Then Antony offered it to him a second time, and he refused it again. Then Antony offered it a third time, he refused it the third time. And he refused it, and the commoners hooted, and clapped their hands, and threw up their sweaty hats, and let loose such a great deal of stinking breath because Caesar refused the crown, that it nearly choked Caesar, because he fainted and fell down. Myself, I couldn't dare laugh, for fear of opening my lips and inhaling the stinking air.
Well, wait a minute. Did you say Caesar had fallen?
He fell down in the marketplace and foamed at the mouth and was speechless.
That's very likely. He has epilepsy, a disease where you fall down.
Caesar does not have epilepsy, but you and I and honest Casca have epilepsy. We've fallen.
But I'm sure Caesar fell down. The rabble applauded and hissed him according to whether he pleased them or displeased them, just like they do to actors in the theater. If they didn't, I'm a liar.
What did he say when he regained consciousness?
Indeed, before he fell down, when we realized the commoners were glad he refused the crown, he pulled open his robe and offered his chest to be stabbed. If I had been a commoner laborer and hadn't taken him up on that, well, to hell with me. And so he fainted. When he regained consciousness again, he wanted them to know that it was all because of his sickness. 3 or 4 women near me cried, "Alas, good soul," and forgave him with all their hearts. But never mind then. If Caesar had stabbed their mothers, they would have forgiven him.
And after that, he came back here looking so serious.
Yes.
What did Cicero say?
He said something in Greek.
What did he say?
If I told you I understood Greek, I'd be lying. But those who understood him smiled at one another and shook their heads. As for myself, it was Greek to me. I have more news too. Morellus and Flavius have been punished for pulling scars off statues of Caesar. There you go. There was even more foolishness, if I could only remember it.
Dine with me tonight, Casca.
No, I have another commitment.
Will you dine with me tomorrow?
Yes, if I'm still alive, you're still sane, and your dinner is worth eating.
Good, then I'll expect you.
Do so. Farewell to you both.
What a stupid man he's become. He used to be so sharp when he was in school.
He's still sharp when it comes to carrying out a bold or noble enterprise, though he puts on his show of stupidity. He speaks roughly, but when he says it's meant, and the roughest makes him the other people leaning into him.
You're right. That's how it is. I'll leave you for now. If you'd like to talk tomorrow, I'll come to your home. Or, if you don't mind, come to my home and I'll wait for you.
So until then, think about it and well-being of Rome. Well, Brutus, you're noble. Yet, if I were Brutus now, and Brutus were me, I wouldn't have let him influence me. Tonight, I'll throw through his window a few letters in different handwritings, as if they came from several citizens, as testifying to great respect. Romans for Brutus, and all the alluding to Caesar's unseemly ambition. After this, let Caesar brace himself, for we'll either dethrone him or even suffer him worse than now.